This is the Situation Room. It's your authoritative platform for analyzing the politics as we approach election 2024. In a couple of weeks, the MPP will be going to their Super Delegates Conference or Congress to whittle down 10 to 5. But before that, we're still jumping across constituencies. Today, we're going to some constituencies to check what's happening with the parliamentary races. How popular are the incumbent MPs, and what are their chances against parties that want to take over from them? So if you are in Karaga, if you are in Boku West, if you are in Bolgatanga Central, if you are in Tema West, if you are in Trobu, if you are in Esojaman, or in Esekuma or Dobrim Brakwa, and other constituencies, we have some information for you. I'm here with Mussa Dankwa from Global Info Analytics, and we'll be delving deep into the parliamentary races for these constituencies. Stay with us.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117. And on HD Plus, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV. Citi TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD Plus boxes. Citi TV, it's your world.
It's inspiration. It's the word. The teachings.
When is your time? When is your season? When is your turn? No amount of lies, no amount of liars, political liars, financial liars, family liars, hated or spiritual liars, no amount of it can stop you.
Tune in to Voice of Inspiration with Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. on Citi TV.
Let these words inspire.
Welcome back to the Situation Room. So today we are moving across the country from the Upper East region, the Zebila constituency. We'll go to the Bolgatanga Central constituency. We'll come down to Karaga in Tamale, and then we'll make a drive through Sunyani West and also check a few things around Doma, and then we'll come down to the Eastern region and we'll examine Esojaman. We'll go to Esekuma Dobrim Brakwa in Central, and then we'll come to Greater Accra and look at Tema West and Trobu. Now, last week we focused on 9 constituencies. My guest for today is Mussa Dankwa. Mussa, it's good to have you again. Welcome to the Situation Room.
Thank you, Bernard.
I see you're giving us a lot of food for thought. This is the first election that I've seen real-time data. I mean, I don't know if prior to this, 2020, did you do anything like this?
2020, we were doing something, but it wasn't on this scale.
Yeah, because this is amazing. Like, last week we went to Medina. We got real-time poll. This week, apart from what you did in July and June, you've gone to 2 constituencies in this just past few days.
Absolutely.
Where did you go?
We just finished 2 hours ago. In fact, 3 hours ago.
3 hours ago?
Yes.
Where and where?
We were in Trobu, and we were also in Tema West.
Wow. You tell me more about that later on.
Yeah.
So this first set we are going to look at are constituencies that you glean results from your July poll. I see. So in the July poll, how many constituencies do you look at?
82.
82 constituencies.
Yes.
So the information we're about to put out, apart from Tema and Trobu, are as of July, what date?
July, I think 10th or 9th, thereabouts.
I see. And was this part of a broader
Yes, it was part of broader national tracking poll. And the sample that we deployed in those constituencies, we've gone back to look into them to see whether there's any sign of disturbances or
any sign of disturbances.
Yes.
Interesting. So the national tracking poll looks at many issues.
Yes.
Of which the MP's popularity and likelihood to win
is part of the question.
Is part of this.
Yes.
I see. So apart from the 9 we did last week and the 8 or so, there's more you've done.
There's more. But some of them, we're not putting weight on them because of the sample size involved. So we are a bit cautious so that we don't really put too much emphasis on areas that have a small sample. So
I noticed that last week we had constituencies that had sitting MPs and also ministers. Do we have any ministers in this pool for this week?
I think we have 3 or so ministers.
3 or so ministers?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start from first let's look at the data in terms of where you gleaned the information from. So this is not a sponsored poll.
No.
You picked the data from 30th June to 9 July.
Yes.
And you call it a computer-assisted personal interview.
Yes,
face to face. What does that mean?
It means that our officer will be in the field with a device in his hands.
Like this?
Like this.
Like what I'm holding?
Exactly, like that. Talking to voters and then entering their responses directly into the system. And
then you at the back end will be seeing the result?
In real time.
Wow. I don't know if we use it because I used to do this type of work for my father in the year, between the year 2002, 2003. They would train us for weeks and then we'll take questionnaires and then we'll hold pencils and then we'll enter. In fact, when you enter a community, sometimes you have to throw something on the floor and the direction it tells you to go, you go.
That's where you go.
And then you do every odd number, every even number.
Yes.
It took a long time. So this one makes it quicker, right?
Yes, makes it quicker and much more efficient.
Because we were shading,
exactly.
And then we'll come back and then we're coding.
There's no room for this.
You didn't do all of that?
No, we don't have.
So once you put the answer in,
straight away the system does everything.
Do they ask them questions in English? Or
the questionnaires are in English, and we speak to the respondents based on language they are comfortable with. And so if you are in the northern region, Tamale, English is the first language. If not, the money is there.
And do you look at their voting age? Do they have to be above 18?
Yes. No, above 17 now.
Because they should be 18 by the time we are voting?
Yes.
And then constituencies have electoral areas. Do you cater for that?
Yes, we do. In fact, the samples are assigned first based on the constituency population, and then when we also subdivide the allocation of the constituency per electoral area.
So how useful are these results? Because you're talking June to July. For example, NDC have chosen their parliamentary candidates already. MPP for their orphan constituencies are about to choose. For the ones they are in office probably next year. Somebody will say, well, look, we are voting in February in my MPP constituency. We are talking polling in July of the previous year. What's the point?
You know, baseline data is always very important. What is the race looking like now before Mr. A is the candidate or B is the candidate?
Okay.
And when Mr. A becomes the candidate, what does the race look like? You can see whether this candidate is better for this party or weaker for that party. So it gives you a tons of information that enables you to see how likely the race could go.
Okay. So the first place you want to go is which? It's in Bono region, right?
Yes.
So you looked at, wow.
Sunyani West.
Sunyani West.
Yes.
This is the
Ignatius Bafwewa.
He's a minister, I guess.
Yes.
He's a minister for employment. Bono region.
Bono region.
Before we even get to the numbers, he won this seat in 2020.
Yep.
By a 6% margin.
Yes.
Which means there was a significant number of people who voted independent, because 47, 41, and then the yellow box. So I don't know. I think there was a third factor there.
It is, yeah.
It wasn't a straight MPP.
11% other candidates. So
independent candidates.
Yes.
Wow. If you add 11 to 41, that's 49.
That will give you 49.
No,
52 point something.
So actually, I think I know what happened. There was an independent candidate who came out of the NDC.
Okay.
Or somewhere, because that 11 is significant.
Yeah, significant.
Right. So it wasn't a comfortable victory for him.
Not at all.
In 2020. Now, what is the meaning of Sunyani West party affiliations?
Okay. In the sample that we interviewed, 26% of the respondents were MPP affiliates. 25% of them were NDC. 16% belonged to other political parties.
Okay.
And 32% did not disclose their party affiliation. These are the people you should be very afraid of.
We seem to be seeing a lot of people who are either saying they are floating voters or would not disclose in these polls.
In fact, it used to be, they used to take cover in the other political parties. But we know from election that our other parties don't command that huge followers. So we realized that they were either MPP or NDC voters who wouldn't want at a point in time disclose who they are. So we created this not disclose to enable them to enable them go there freely without being forced into picking other party affiliations.
So from what you've put here, your sample is very even.
Yes.
26% of them say they are MPP, 25 say they are NDC, a whole almost 50-something%.
There are other parties or did not disclose who they are.
Interesting. Then this is the result. What does this mean?
In the question as to which party they intend to vote for in the parliamentary elections, 43% of the respondents said they would vote for the MPP's candidate.
Which is this guy, if he's maintained.
If he's maintained.
All right.
And 37% said they intend to vote for NDC's candidate, which
NDC,
they know.
NDC candidate, I know that as of May,
There was an injunction.
Yes. So we are not sure who the NDC candidate is going to be. So, okay, 26 of them say they are MPP, but the number jumps to 43.
Yes.
It means some of these and this will go MPP.
He's made gains, in quite huge gains.
But this person who is not known also made gains to 37.
The party makes gain, yes, 37.
And there's also this.
Yeah, onshore.
So it's possible that this will boil down to who is chosen by the two camps.
Yes.
Or the three, whatever camps.
Then the
so it's still up in the air.
Still up in the air.
Should he be worried that he had 47 here and he's getting 43 here? Or that's not how you look at it?
I don't think he should be very worried, because you could see that his support, he gained far more than the NDC party gained in that electoral area. So,
but should you not be concerned that he is a minister for almost 8 years, and NDC doesn't have a candidate, and yet he beats the NDC by only 5? There's no name here.
There's no name here. There's no name.
So shouldn't he be? So if they choose somebody who's strong,
you know, look at the previous race. It was 6% margin. Here it is 5% margin. So it's going to be as close as last time.
So there's a lot to look out for in who is chosen by the NDC, who's chosen by the MPP.
Absolutely.
If it's an independent candidate as well.
Yes.
But this is strange, because Sunyani is a stronghold of the MPP traditionally. As in Sunyani.
Yes.
I don't know about Sunyani West, but Sunyani is J.H. Mensah seat. Sunyani West, I'm not really sure. Right, the Sunyani East was J.H. Mensah, and then Sunyani, but it's still Sunyani. It's like dividing an MPP stronghold into two. So if you add NDC to this,
that means he will be
looking
to lose.
And in the presidential as well, I need to check this. But so if you are this guy's advisor, what should he be doing? You don't know.
You know, we don't advise.
You don't advise. You just put out the data.
Yes.
Interesting. So, but what about this? What does this show?
Now, okay. So for the NDC, 88% of their own supporters are voting for NDC candidate in the election. You can see that MPP is much stronger than NDC when it comes to party affiliation. 94% of MPP sympathizers are voting for MPP candidate. So they are in much better position compared to NDC by about 6% in that constituency. And now for those who did not disclose their party affiliation, you see, they are up for grab. Some say they will vote for third-party candidates. Others say they are not sure. So there's a lot of room. These guys, I don't know who they are. You could drill down to see that they are mostly or most likely to be MPP or NDC guys. If they are not happy with what is going on, they could be MPP guys who are hoping to unleash.
Let me read a story on citynewsroom.com on Sunyani West, April 4th this year. Tension in Sunyani West NDC primaries over purported disqualification of Ernest Ayesu and Evelyn Akantwa. Let me just read. Okay. There's an easy calm in the NDC in the Sunyani West constituency following the disqualification of 2 candidates from the party's parliamentary race. Ernest Ayesu, a mining engineer with Newmont, Ghana, was purportedly disqualified on Tuesday afternoon after he was vetted on Monday evening. In a vetting which was heavily witnessed by scores of party supporters, Mr. Ayesu was lifted shoulder high after what many described as incredible performance. But after the euphoria that surrounded the vetting, the committee on Tuesday indicated that Mr. Ayesu is unfit to contest the primaries. According to the committee, he had not lived in Sunyani West for the required number of years and therefore cannot participate in the party's upcoming primaries. In another development, another contender, Avle Kantwa, who was reportedly disqualified following concerns about her membership of the party, in addition to other allegations of falsified documents. Her supporters have therefore vowed to employ all means to ensure she gets back into the race. Meanwhile, chairman of the vetting committee, Deputy General Secretary Mustafa Bande, says neither Ayesu nor Akantwa had been disqualified. Speaking in an interview with the media on the back of the tension, he explained that there's no substantive decision on the two yet. Then there's another story online that seeks to say that there's an injunction on the primaries. So we don't know yet.
So it's an open constituency, open for a lot of surprise.
And because there was an independent who came out of MPP to contest in 2020, I think it's called Bernardo Drotechi.
Okay.
One to watch. So this is the first one.
First one.
Where else did you go? So Sunyani West in Bono, you need to move it with a bit more vim.
Okay. Then we have Doma Central. Peku Ajimamenu.
Minister for Health.
Minister for Health.
Was under pressure for a long time.
Yes.
I think the president went to a program there and said their MP has been hot because people in Accra are calling for his head. You know, he survived. He survived. So let's go back. In 2020,
he won by 17% margin.
Quite healthy, right?
Yes.
Almost 60%, 60-40. So it's good MPP.
Yeah.
But your sample is interesting.
Yeah.
Only 24% said they were MPP.
Mm-hmm. And 37 said they were NDC.
36 said they won't disclose.
Yes.
So this is a very skewed sample.
No, you see, there's no party called I will not disclose.
No, what I'm trying to say is that
in terms of the two main parties, it is skewed.
So it means that if you're interpreting this,
you have to watch the party affiliation and the results.
Yes.
Who has done better than his base?
Yes, because he only 24% of the people responded said they support MPP.
Absolutely.
So the sample has more non-MPP. Mm-hmm. But interestingly, he does pretty well.
Yes. Who do you intend to vote for?
44.
At the moment, from the sample, he gets 44% of the vote. NDC candidate gets 46% of the vote. Onshore 7%, and will not vote 3%. So,
you know what I find interesting? So come here. When you ask the person where you support, 36% say, I won't tell you.
Yes.
When you ask them who you vote for, they will tell you.
Yeah, they will tell you.
That's
no, you see,
strange.
It does not necessarily mean that I support party A, I must vote for party A.
So
no.
there are people who are willing to be convinced to change.
Yes. Some are NDC, but they are voting for MPP's candidate.
In all your polls, I'm seeing a lot of either this or this. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing this. It tells me that there are people who are not sure of which of these guys to choose, and there are people who are waiting to see something to make a decision.
No, this is not a choice. This is the party they want to link themselves.
That's my point.
No, but you see, if you are an NDC, you don't have to be
That's my point. So I'm saying that when people say we have a duopoly in Ghana,
yes,
if you have a lot of your samples saying, I won't tell you who I support, or I'm a floating voter, it means if there's a credible third force, they could shift. Do you get me? So these are the people who say,
I agree.
We are hardcore NDC,
but
MPP.
We are also assuming that the fact that they are MPP or NDC, they must necessarily vote NDC or MPP.
No, it's because of the choice. Because when you move from here, when you give them a choice, it's almost like...
See, we've never had this issue before, not disclosed before.
Okay.
This is becoming peculiar in this year.
Just this year?
Just this year, yes. And this, let me tell you what, these are people who are disappointed with a party's performance and they don't want to be what?
So it means that incumbent government should be worried about
They should be worried about it, yes. Yes.
So a lot of these people could well be there, people who voted for them who don't want to now identify with them.
Absolutely. Nationally, most of them are in the Ashanti region.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. People who don't want to disclose their party affiliation, most are in Ashanti region.
You are serious?
Yes.
Wow.
And again, Ashanti region is becoming a region with the highest number of floating voters. It used to be Central, Western, and Greater Accra.
So people who identify themselves as floating voters?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So what does 44 for Ajimamenu and 46 for NDC mean in this poll?
It tells me that those who are not disclosing are mostly MPP people. in Sunyani West. In Doma
That's
Central.
why he jumps by
yes,
20.
that huge, yes.
So he gets 20 of this.
Yes.
And then the rest go here.
Yes.
Wow. So should he be worried?
He must do a wider study in the constituency.
A deeper dive.
Deeper dive, yes. This is just
because at the end of the day, he's still not winning.
It's still not winning.
He's not winning.
Yes.
He's not winning.
Still not winning.
What does this tell us?
It tells us that, okay, for those who intend to vote for NDC's candidate, 86% of them are NDC affiliates. 50% of them are those who do not disclose their party affiliation. You see the worry. And then 33% of them are those who say they are for other parties.
So that's where NDC gets their pull from.
Yes.
But MPP...
Adjumamenu is doing well among the MPP base, 93%.
Very interesting.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I know who the NDC candidate is. So at this point, I will not go any further. But I'm sure the team can let me know this because I've not paid attention to Doma that much. The only thing I know about Doma is that I've been told in the previous election, when we're doing an issue mapping, poultry issue came up very strongly in Doma.
It's a farming.
I'm told that if you want places in Ghana where a lot of our chicken and eggs come from, is Doma.
Doma.
And when I look at the fortunes of the poultry industry, I can assume, in fact, I'm told that one of the candidates for 2020 was a poultry farmer. Right? He has some name, I forget. So I'm not sure. Maybe we can do issue-specific deep dive into Doma. But having a strong cabinet minister is also a plus.
Yeah.
Because he's visible. We're in COVID. He was the face of the fight. Even though he had a lot of challenges, he's still the minister. So it's quite interesting to see what's going to happen with Doma. Wow. This is the Situation Room. I don't know if you guys are following and enjoy what we're doing. My guest is Mussa Dankwa. Today we are picking specific constituencies to try and check the performance of the MPs. We've done Sunyani West, which is still up in the air. We don't know who the NDC candidate will be. The MPP as well haven't chosen, so it's a big wait to see. Doma is looking quite interesting. This is Doma Central, by the way. There's also Doma West, right? When we come back, we'll go into a few other constituencies, and then we did a deep dive into Trobu and Tema West. We're going to drop that filler this afternoon. Stay with us. This is the Situation Room. Today we're delving into 8 or 9 constituencies across the country. We started in the Bono region. We've shown you Doma. We've shown you Sunyani West. We're with Mussa Dankwa, who's the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. They are the leading polling agency in the country. He has another constituency to jump into. Sunyani is where we left off. Where else did you go?
Esikuma Odobin Brakwa.
Okay, go to the screen and show me what you have there. Esikuma Odobin Brakwa.
Yes.
This is Central Region?
Central Region.
Okay. In
2020, he won by 5% margin.
5%? 47 for MPP, 52 for NDC?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so that's it's not such a safe seat.
No, it's a swing constituency. It was previously held by PC Appeals.
Oh, this is the PC Appeals constituency?
Yes, constituency.
So this is Central Region?
Central Region.
Al-Hassan Kobina Gansa?
Yes.
It's a close race. In your sample, what did we see in your sample?
36% of the sample were MPP.
36% are MPP?
MPP. And then 44% were NDC. 7% were floating voters. 3% other parties.
So your point is that Central Region in the past, this would have been a bigger number?
Yes.
But now it's smaller?
Now the floating is going down in Central Region. We've seen that across many areas in Central Region.
So his 44 moves to 47?
Yes.
MPP's 36 moves to 38. We don't know who the MPP guy will be. And we know that he's the incumbent. Should he be? Is this good or bad?
No, I think for him, from where he's been in the past, he's going into a very good shape. He's been in a worse situation in the last year or so. So we've seen a remarkable turnaround for him in the polls.
When you did this a year before, he wasn't looking good?
Yes, he wasn't looking good.
So what has changed?
It tends to, I don't know.
But this also suggests it's good, right? For him,
absolutely.
he controls his base.
98% of NDC are voting for him. And he's getting 9% of MPP as well.
So let's get it straight. 98 on green means that 98% of the NDC population
are voting for him, yes.
14 means 14% of these guys
voters
are for him.
Yes.
And then 9% of
MPP.
Okay, but not disclosed are not for him.
No.
Meanwhile, the MPP guys, 91% for them, 29% of their voters are from here, 11% from here. Okay.
Now the float, those who are saying not disclosed, they have not chosen anybody from the main parties yet.
So this party is there for the taking. This seat could be there for the taking.
It's a very hotly contested seat.
Esikumo Dobin Brakwa. Wow. And his name is Alhassan Kobina Gansa. So one to watch.
One to watch.
But you're saying Central Region, this figure is... So the big story is the reduction of this.
Yeah.
I see. How close is this to Asin Central, by the way? Asin North?
In fact, Asin North has very few floating voters, to be very honest with you.
So it's the same kind of thing.
The same
and you know, it's a neighboring constituency.
Yes.
It's a neighboring constituency.
So it's really... It's something we're watching closely.
I'm also thinking about, you know, Umaru Sanda interviewed Kennedy Japan yesterday. And when I look at your results for the MPP, Kennedy and Alan do well in Central compared to Bawumia. Bawumia does very well everywhere else. But Central
is a big issue for him.
Yes.
Big
so
issue.
I'm wondering whether it's the Kennedy, because Alan is partly Fanti, and Kennedy is strong in Asin. I don't know whether that's what is affecting Bawumia there, but I don't know whether that could spill over into the main election and benefit the NDC. If you get my point.
We have what we call the down ballot effect.
The what?
The down ballot effect.
Down ballot effect.
Yes. Where the candidate really drives the numbers for the PC up.
Yeah, because don't forget that NDC also made changes in their parliamentary group. Haruna was replaced by Cassiel, who is from Ejumaku.
Yes, yeah.
Ejumaku Bisiase. So, and then they had they maintained the voter, and then they brought Weston to replace Muntaka.
Weston will be key as well in the next election.
So when Asedun Ketia says they were making the changes on the basis of the party support base and some of the sentiment, you believe him? That the changes in the minor, because you have two key
maybe
regions.
Maybe he was following the data.
You think so?
Yeah, following the data.
So choosing Central and Western in their parliamentary leadership could spill over into the main election.
Yes.
Wow.
You know, one of the regions with the highest number of people who say they won't vote is Western region.
And that is not good for the incumbent.
No.
So once you see that, it means there's problem.
Yeah.
So I think the guy is the MP for, what's his name?
Elembele.
Elembele. Strong guy. Wow. This is very interesting. So Central region, the big story is floating voters are reducing.
Yeah.
Central could be key in this election. Let's go on. What else did you find for me? This is Eastern region.
Eastern region. Esojaman.
Ooh.
It's always hotly contested.
Look at that. NDC candidate Thomas Nyakuampin, 50.7. NPP, 48.5. This is mighty close.
It's a razor thin finish.
This is mighty close. And 0.8.
For third.
This constituency has had MPP Kofi Sayameyao. I think he's won it twice. And NDC has also won it before. So it's a very...
It's always swinging here and there.
Esojaman is Eastern region. This is where Atimpoku is.
Atimpoku.
Bordered by
Enum,
Boso,
yes.
So South Dai is a border constituency. Okujetua Blackwell is a border constituency. Yeah. I think even Dambucho is a border constituency.
Okay.
I think possibly.
It could be towards the north.
And then Shai Osudoku or something. Wow. Your sample is very interesting.
Very interesting. That's what's shocking me.
What?
Now, in the sample, 49% of the sample were MPP voters.
Clearly, the problem is with your sample, not with them.
No, you let go.
49 of your sample.
Yes, people we spoke to randomly on the street in that
said
area,
that they were
MPP voters.
That's about half of them.
18% were NDC. 12% were floating voters. And 20% did not disclose their party affiliation.
Yet, when you ask them who they will vote for,
So this is what tells you that MPP is in trouble in that constituency.
or the NDC guy is strong.
It means, yeah, it's
Because if only 18%
it is his strength that
Yeah.
has making MPP.
Only 18% of the respondents say they are NDC people.
Yet.
But when you ask who they will vote for, 60% say they will vote for this guy.
Absolutely, this is staggering.
Wow. Thomas Nyanko. This is serious. I've never seen. So it's like almost a 40% jump.
From his base.
And half of them say they are MPP.
Yes, yes.
But only 37% intend to vote for MPP.
You see, if most have been NDC, then so it's a normal race. They are voting for their own. Here, people are crossing carpet from blue
Wow.
to vote green.
This is incredible. Because the presidential is also very tight, always here.
Always there.
Can we use this, can we transpose this to a presidential race? Or this is more popularity of the
you
candidate?
You can't at this stage.
It's too early.
It's too early.
So it means you go back there when the MPP choose their
Yeah,
candidate.
there are certain seats that we will put our microscope on them.
Yeah,
this is one
I
of them.
think, Sojaman, if you were to ask me 20 seats that are hot in terms of presidential, I always will pick that.
Also, Jamal will be one of them.
Because it's always tricky. I think the demographics as well. For example, Kofi Sayameyao has done well for MPP, but when he's not there, they tend to struggle.
You see, when you are able to have a cross-ethnic support,
Appeal, okay.
you do well.
I
In
get your
certain
point.
constituencies, yes.
So I get your point. So you are okay. That's interesting. So Kofi Sayameyao is able to cross over and get some of the NDC votes.
Yes.
And this guy is able to get some of the MPP guys. Oh, so that's the secret.
That's the secret.
What does this tell us about him?
Look at it. He is getting 100% support from NDC.
All the NDC voters say they vote for
And
him.
Yes, voting for him. Including all of the floating voters are voting for him.
So these people are possibly even MPP supporters.
No, you.
No. There's this one.
It
This
is
one. This
not
one.
disclose who are the ones that you should
Yeah.
really.
And he gets all the floating voters too.
Yes.
Hey, this guy is wild though. Thomas Nyakuampim. Wow. I'll ask my parliamentary correspondent to tell me what he does in parliament. Very interesting. So presidential wise, we have to wait.
We have to wait, yes.
We have to wait. Okay. Let's move to, where else did you go? You need to swipe it. Yes, you are not used to the screen, so you have to swipe it, it will go.
Okay.
Karaga. This is crazy. This is Mohammed Amin Adam, the Minister of State for Finance, former Deputy Minister for Energy, former Mayor of Tamale, former NUC's President, Mohammed Amin Adam. He's the MP for Karaga. Look at that.
59.
He did. This is serious. You know, the MPP's performance in the north has been very interesting for me. If you look at the Savannah region, of the 7 parliamentary seats, 4 are NDC, 3 are MPP. And John Mahama is from Savannah region. From the northern region, seats like Gushehu, Karaga, Yendi always, Nanumba North, MPP. It's almost like when I started covering elections, the north was very green. But now it's
blue.
Is some way.
The green is in the mid-center.
Yes.
And then the blue is at the outskirts.
So the Tamale seats
yeah.
are usually green. But there's some big blue gash.
Yeah.
And when you go
But
to
we are seeing a reversal in the polls.
What do you mean by this?
You know, I think sometime last year or early this year, John Mahama was losing Northern Region in several polls with that.
Yeah.
He's turned around.
He's turned it around.
Yeah, turned it around. And it's getting not good for MPP in Northern Region right now. But that's why even this seat is looking precarious. Look at the numbers.
So in the previous year, the North was up in the air for the NDC.
Yes.
But now,
in fact, they were losing it.
But they have become stronger.
Yes.
But could it not be because now they have a candidate and MPP haven't chosen their candidate yet?
It's also a factor, but the change has been so
drastic.
Drastic, yes.
All right, I don't understand what is happening here. How do 72% of your respondents say they are floating voters? That doesn't make sense.
Another interesting thing is that beside Ashanti region, Northern region too is recording higher number of floating voters.
But that could mean, that could be, that we should think about that a bit more carefully. Because if the vice president wins, that will be the first time you will have two people from
the
same zone
running for president.
So maybe a lot of them are waiting to see what they will do.
But remember, you see, we should not equate party affiliation to voting.
I get your point.
They are separate.
You always remind me of this.
Yes,
you always
they are
remind me of
separate.
this. Okay. So your sample, all these guys say they are floating voters.
They are floating voters.
Do you
In
believe
Karaga.
them? This is weird. This is very weird. This is very
No,
weird.
but you see, none of them went to not disclose. They weren't afraid to say that they are NDC or
So it means they voted for different parties before?
Yes, yes.
Of course, that explains because, for example, if you take Karaga in the 3 previous election cycles, NDC has been winning by a factor of 6-4. If MPP has won it by that factor, clearly people are floated.
switching over. Yes.
So it's no longer.
So it tells you that this number could be valid.
It makes sense.
Yes.
I get your point. So when you transpose this to this, is this where the real? So this guy is the incumbent.
Yes.
His primaries to be held in
February.
and he's jumping from only 8%.
Yes.
These guys, even though only 8%,
He's on 66%.
so NDC is winning the seat.
From what we can see now,
Wow.
Karaga is up in the air.
And I suspect there's a different candidate from the 2020.
Not sure who that candidate is.
Yes, I've been told there's a different candidate for the NDC now.
Okay.
So this is a big, fat danger.
Very, very big. Because of these guys, the floating voters.
But what shocks me is that his portfolio has risen. He was Deputy Energy Minister. He's now a Minister of State in the Finance Ministry. I argue that that ministry, that position is more powerful than some other cabinet positions.
I agree.
Because Minister of State in Finance, that was what Akuto said was under Kufuor. It's a very powerful position.
And also Edubuahini.
Yes, so to have a prominent, and this guy has been Tamale Mayor. He's a proper Northern boy.
Something is not right there. Something is not right.
Are you tempted to go back and do a deeper survey?
Yeah,
Are you tempted one time? Probably maybe next year.
Next year, no, definitely next year.
When the two parties have chosen.
And then we can have a very kind of stable race.
Yeah, and don't forget there have been some chieftaincy issues too there.
Okay.
There have been some issues in Karaga in the news as well. So we don't want to speculate, but this is interesting for you.
Very interesting.
But this is not bad for him, right?
No, it's not bad for him.
100% of the people say they'll vote for him, MPP guys.
Look at the floating voters. 85% of them
will go for NDC.
NDC. And even the NDC, only 50% of them are voting for their own. The rest are saying that they're not sure. Even though the number is very small.
So this is where the real issue is.
Yeah, the real
issue is.
With the floating voters.
All right, let's go on. So this
Karaga.
Mohammed Amin Adam. Let's get to the next one.
Bolgatanga Central.
Isaac Adongo. Oh my goodness. How did he do in 2020?
He was on
pretty comfortable.
Almost 30% margin. Huge margin.
Wow.
34.8 to
So this is strong NDC.
A strong NDC.
And when you went for your sample as well, it sort of reflects, right?
Yeah, and that's the problem. You see, 35% of them were MPP. 56% of them were NDC. 9% were floating voters.
So this is even very similar to this, 35, 34.
Yeah.
So why is Adongo getting only 51?
He may have internal problems.
You think so?
And also, yes, look at the numbers here. 49% of them of the Bolgatanga.
So this,
area,
yeah. So this
gained.
So the MPP who haven't even chosen their candidate yet,
gained about
almost half of them.
14%
will vote
gain.
for MPP.
Yes. And just 51 are voting for Adongo.
Meanwhile, he's very prominent on the national stage.
Now look here. You see the division in NDC.
84% are going for him.
And then 16% of NDC are going for potential MPP candidate who we don't know yet.
Or maybe MPP is working behind the scenes because he's giving them pressure in the national scene. Wow.
And he's not winning the floating either. He's only getting 40% of them.
Adongo is in trouble.
So he needs to go to the ground. Sometimes you may be in the capital, in the parliament, doing a lot of work, but back home there may be a disconnect between you.
Maybe that's why I've not had him on my show for a while. Maybe he's not coming. Because
maybe he's in the bush now.
Maybe after every budget cycle, he usually comes on the point of view to speak. But this year we haven't had him yet. Maybe he's doing some work.
He's doing some work. He has some work to do. But I think if you look at the margin he got last time, maybe it's an internal issue that he needs to probably touch.
So this is a strong NDC.
This is a very strong NDC, yes.
So
I don't see him lose the seat.
You don't see him because I think he's won the primaries.
Yes. He was unopposed.
Unopposed.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the danger of this unopposed team.
So it sort of sometimes covers up bigger issues.
Issues, yes.
I see. So this is Isaac Adongo, Upper East.
Yes.
Where else did you go after Bogatanga Central?
Zebila, he's not contesting anymore. He's not going for.
Oh, so this is the MP. He's not going to stand anymore.
He's not going to stand anymore.
I see. But you still put his name there for the test.
No. This is just for the incumbency to show how he won it last time.
Okay.
Just for the records.
So this is also strong NDC.
It's very strong NDC.
This is Johnny Lebregue's seat, by the way. That's when he was MP about 12 years ago. It used to be called Boku West.
Yeah.
That's the name of the seat. So your voter respondents, this is interesting, 47 MPP.
31 NDC, 18 floating voters, 2% others, and 2% not disclosed.
What is going on here?
What is going on? Look at it.
Wow.
73% of the respondents said they were voting for MPP's candidate.
Wow.
Who is yet to be named.
This is interesting. So they are waiting for the MPP to choose their candidate.
Yes. And so there's a problem there. And 24% for NDC. NDC has dropped quite a bit.
Very interesting. And if you look at this, there's
you see the problem.
Yes. So maybe they don't like their candidate.
A third of NDC people want to vote for MPP's candidate.
Even though they don't know who he is yet.
You don't know who it is. Yes.
Or maybe they know somebody's working. So but he's not going anymore.
He's not going anymore.
One of the most experienced MPs we've had. I interviewed him on the death sentence. He says he should stay. Yeah, he says he should stay. He's one of the most experienced. I think he's probably the oldest MP in Parliament. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to take you into a couple more, and then we'll go deep into Trouble and Tema West, where we have fresh data. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Situation Room. Today we're delving into a number of constituencies. We've dealt with about 6 or 7 where we took the samples from Global Info Analytics. This was between end of June, first week in July. But they went to 2 constituencies this week.
Yes.
And the results came today.
Yes.
Why did you choose Tema West and Trobu?
No, because they were high profile seats that, for example, Trobu shared the same characteristics as Doma. Sometimes we don't need to poll everywhere. You could profile the constituency and be able to see what is happening there. If what is happening in Trobu comes through, it could affect Doma.
Because they are so close.
Yes.
So let's get into the details. You did Tema West.
Tema West.
And let's just run through the numbers.
Quickly.
If you can move it for me. Okay. So
it has a sample size of 500.
Oh, so just this week, 14 to 17 August?
Yes.
Consistent. Okay, so this is today.
Yes.
Wow. And what did you find?
Right.
Okay, you used...
This is the electoral areas and how we assign the samples to these electoral areas.
Okay. Ajekojo, Lashibi, Bachona. So those of you who don't know this, this is, yes, Tema West. So it's partnered by Lejokuku on the eastern side, Aishaman on the northern side, and then by Tema East on the southern side. So Ajekojo, Lashibi is a big area, Bachona, Sakuman or Spintex Road areas, railways, Kasanjan, Haukro. These are the areas you went.
Yes.
Wonderful. What else can you say?
Right. Party affiliation.
Okay.
MPP 46%.
Okay.
NDC 43%. Independent or floating voters 8%. And 3% did not disclose their party affiliation.
Wow. So very close.
Very close.
How do you rate your MP's performance?
Performance, excellent, 9%. Very good or good, 27%. Average, 47%. Poor or very poor, 23%. No opinion.
So it's
0.
iffy.
Because I think average and this, I think it's not doing bad at all.
If you add very good
for
to average.
For an average MP.
So he shouldn't be too concerned.
Well, let's see.
In terms of this particular response?
Yes.
Okay. But when you went into primaries...
We wanted to see who, if he is contested, what could the race be? How would the race be? We used Natoshi as a potential candidate, if he is interested, against Carlos. And 48% of voters prefer Carlos.
46 say they want.
46.
And now she hasn't said she wants to
No,
run.
we just threw her name in there.
And she still gets 46.
46%, yes.
Femi, she has strong name recall.
Yes.
Don't forget she's the director of the DACF.
Yes.
She was in the news last 2 weeks. Damboche had written to the president about
complaining
her.
about it.
And she has 46%, even though she hasn't said she wants
No.
it. Wow.
Carlos must be looking out for.
So if she wants to go, he could be in trouble.
He could be in trouble.
If she wants to go.
Yes, yes.
Do we know if there's any... The seat of Abraham Osei Edu, who's a former deputy minority, the leader of MPP majority in parliament, Abraham Osei Edu's seat. All right, so in a hypothetical race between the two...
It is close.
It's very close.
Yes. It's dead heat because the margin of error is 4.7.
So there's a dead heat.
Dead heat.
But what about if you compare him to the NDC? Because NDC had James Enu.
James Enu. Yes.
And
Carlos.
So Carlos actually does much better.
Yeah. 46% against James Enu, 43%.
You know what is funny about this? So if you look at 2020, the race was very close between Carlos and Raphael.
Tufo?
There's Raphael Tufo.
Yes.
It was a very close race. I think it was 52 to 47. It was like a 3,000 votes difference. This was the best the NDC had done
in that
constituency. Then the NDC goes to primaries, and then there are 6 people who want to contest. Now listen to their names. Wakefield Akwaku, the former actor, Rashid Issa, Raphael Kwesi Sapon, Dr. Adams Kote Asafuache, James Enu, and Jessica Dosu Papo.
So the former candidate didn't contest?
He contested, but there were 5 others.
Ah, okay.
All right, and Tufo, he lost the seat he got 44,000 votes. Carlos got just a 2,000 difference. So you'd have thought that the NDC would maintain...
Tufo, maybe he's not interested.
He was in the race.
Oh,
yeah.
And he lost.
So,
okay.
So he lost the primaries.
Okay.
And James Enu had contested in 2016. So James Enu was the former candidate. And then Raphael Tufo. So there's some issue there.
Then there's an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, because then if you have 6 candidates, it tells you that maybe Enu is struggling in his base because there are too many people who wanted a seat. Because the sentiment I get on the ground is that Carlos is not that popular.
But if he's beating him by this margin, it means somebody is the problem.
Because the NDC is not united.
Or maybe...
Yeah, because look at the names. You have Wakefield Akwaku, Raphael Riafe, some Alaji, and a couple of other people, and then James.
When we look at the results from the electoral areas...
Let's check it out. Let's go. Let's see. So you had...
and when you throw him against Natoshi...
He loses as well.
Yeah. Natoshi... MPP comes down slightly and NDC goes up. So it means that Carlos technically
is stronger
than Natoshi.
Right.
Now let's look at the results per the electoral area. Ahim Kram versus Lawyer Enu. How Pro, MPP.
66.
This is quite comfortable margin.
Kasajan, 61.
61.
Railway
91.
91.
Sakumono, 54. Bachona, 63. Lashibi.
He wins everything except
Ajay Kojo.
Which is across the road. So Ajay Kojo is near Ashaiman. So funny, Ajay Kojo is next to Ashaiman.
So the demographic probably.
Yes, so most of these on the motorway, all of these places are on the south. And then this place it's an interesting result.
If it is Natoshi, this is it.
Still very similar. But just Bachona, he wins.
Bachona, he wins by a landslide.
So Bachona Natoshi is not popular there.
No.
All right. So your conclusion is that the MPP internally, if they put up a strong candidate, could affect Carlos.
Carlos, yes.
But the NDC are not that united in that constituency.
No.
Which is why their candidate doesn't do that well. Because their sentiment for the MP is average.
It's average.
So it's not as if it's extremely popular.
No. So I was expecting the way it went last time, a close contest, but at the moment,
very
it
interesting.
is not.
It's still a long way off. Let's get to the next one. This is the final one you did. Trouble in trouble. Trouble in trouble.
Yes. Margin of error, 4.72, 431 sample size. It was done, finished today. We went to Trouble electoral area, Tantra, Ni Amankraman, Ofanko Sab, Asofa, Pokwasi, and Fisi. Asofa.
So the biggest of these
is Pokwasi.
Ofanko, and Pokwase. When I check the numbers, Pokwase is very big. Pokwase is on your right when you are driving to Kumasi. On the overhead of Fankor is on your left, Fankor South and North. And then Tantra is also not that bad at all. In 2020, NPP won this fairly comfortably. NPP's candidate got, in fact, Akufo-Addo got 65%, John Mahama got 34%. So this is a very strong MPP.
Very strong MPP. I mean, it's blue.
It's blue.
It's blue.
And then
the party affiliation, interesting. 46% MPP, 23% NDC, 30% floating vote.
Red flag.
Red flag.
So these guys, there's something happening here. Wow. What else did you find? How do you rate your MP? Oh my God. Very poor, 42. Average, 40. Wow, this guy is in trouble.
Deep trouble.
Oh Lord. Just say, oh God. Only 14% say very good.
Yes.
Moses Enim, what's happening to you?
He's in big trouble.
Wow. What else did you find? Oh.
Against an imaginary candidate in the primaries.
For MPP?
For MPP.
Oh,
imaginary
anybody
candidate.
but?
Anybody but.
So even if I put Paco, the cameraman.
That's what the guys are saying, that anybody but Moses Enim for MPP. So 49% of the respondents want someone else.
Wow.
Moses Enim, 27%.
Within MPP?
Within MPP.
There's something wrong. They are tired of him. And then
against NDC, he is wobbly, really, really wobbly. Moses Enim, 26%.
And this is a seat that he won with 64%.
Absolutely comfortable.
30. Hey. And this guy, the NDC guy?
This NDC guy.
Dr. John Kofi Ham. Wow.
53%.
For a party that hasn't made more than 40% before.
This is, if this transpires in an election, this could be a tsunami in Greater Accra.
It will be strange because it's almost like Amasaman going to MPP in 2020. Amasaman has always been NDC. And it's been closing and closing and closing. So this is a big red flag.
Red flag.
But there was no name in MPP that you could have used.
No, we asked around, there was no name. Apparently he is...
Muslim is the main man.
Unopposed.
He's the trouble Mugabe. So the lesson here is what? MPP needs to look closely at their... Or Moses has to do some work. So there's a chance for this guy.
Very good chance.
There's a chance for this guy.
Very, very good chance.
Wow.
And Bernard, if trouble falls
to NDC,
nowhere else will be safe.
Why are you saying trouble could affect? What do you call it?
They share the same border.
Oh, so trouble is the neighbor to Adwo Asafo?
Yes, Domi Kwabenya.
Could there be Adwo Asafo sentiment spilling over? You know, but Domi Kwabenya is so wide. It starts from Abokobi
all the way
and comes all the way to Taifa.
Yes.
So Domi Kwabenya is very straight.
It's a very funny shape, yes.
Domi, Agbogba, Hacho, Abokobi. So Domi Kwabenya is very weird. But this is a straight line on the Kumasi Road. Wow. So this guy needs to do some work.
He is in big trouble.
Moses Enim. Well, we wish everybody well. So what's the final point?
Let's look at the results from the electoral areas. Look at it. Look at it.
Trouble. Wow.
He only wins trouble.
He loses everywhere.
He loses everywhere.
Tantra, NDC. Nian Kraman, NDC. Ofankor is split. As so far, he wins. As so far, he's going for somebody else. Pokwase of all places, 71 NDC. Fise, 2050. Wow, this is serious.
This is the result of the electoral areas.
And Pokwase is one of the biggest.
Biggest, yes.
Hey, MPP is hot. In trouble. Thank you. This is really good work. This is incredible work. Next week is MPP. We are going to look at the Super Delegates Congress. We will not ask you what you think. We'll wait. I'll call you on Thursday and I'll ask you.
Sure.
And I'll hold you to your word. But Super Delegates is tricky.
It's tricky.
It's tricky because
we don't want to veer. When we give comment on them, it is based on observation.
Yes, because you haven't done a poll on them.
No.
Wow. But then the main thing is November. Wonderful. Musa, great to have you. Mussa Dankwa is the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. Look, these are interesting times for Ghana, where we are delving deep. And we're going to do this all the way to election 2024. Sanda is on leave, just enjoying himself. He'll be back next week to come and face the hostilities. My name is Bernard Avle. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.